Welcome, my dear learners, for this course on turbo machines. In our module 2, we were discussing about energy transfer in turbo machines. In my previous 3 lectures, I discussed and derived how we are going to analyze the energy transfer and Euler's equation for energy transfer, alternate form of Euler's equation for energy transfer, and also I have derived the expression for relationship between degrees of utilization factor. In today's lecture, in lecture 4, I am going to explain you about the maximum utilization, and also I am going to discuss how to draw the velocity triangle for different values of degrees of reaction. As we discussed in our previous lecture, in lecture 3, the degrees of reaction and utilization factor. Utilization factor is nothing but the diagram efficiency. Utilization factor will be maximum if the discharge velocity of the working fluid is minimum. If the discharge velocity of the working fluid is minimum, then utilization will become maximum. As I explained in our lecture 2, the general velocity triangle, let us consider the general velocity triangle and use the conditions to obtain the maximum utilization factor, and let us extract the velocity triangle for maximum utilization factor. So today's topic is maximum utilization factor. As we all know, for utilization to be maximum, the discharge velocity of the working fluid should be minimum. So let me draw velocity triangle for the turbine and employ what alteration must be done for the general velocity triangle to make the utilization maximum. So the general velocity triangle for turbine is given by, draw the general velocity triangle for turbine at inlet. So we have the flow velocity Vf1 and we have the absolute velocity V1 and we have the relative velocity Vr1. The absolute velocity of the working fluid is making an angle of alpha 1, which is a nozzle angle. The relative velocity of the relative velocity will make an angle of beta 1, which is nothing but the blade angle at inlet. Absolute velocity is taken as a reference to draw the horizontal, to represent the horizontal components. The distance between the absolute velocity and the relative velocity horizontally measured is nothing but the blade speed, that is u1, and the distance from v1 to vf1 is nothing but the tangential component of absolute velocity, which is vu1. Similarly, if I draw the velocity triangle at exit, so it will be, we have vf2 at exit and we have vr2 greater than v2 at discharge, that is the relative velocity is higher than the absolute velocity at discharge, and v2 absolute velocity will make the nozzle angle at exit alpha 2, relative velocity will make the beta angle, that is beta 2. Absolute velocity is taken for the reference. Between absolute to relative, it is blade speed, that is u2. Between absolute to flow, it will be tangential component of absolute velocity, vu2. So this is about the inlet and exit velocity triangle for turbines in general. So now the conditions to make the utilization maximum are, conditions for maximum utilization are, the conditions for maximum utilization are, the first one is that the flow velocity must remain constant. There is a first condition to be satisfied for utilization to be maximum. The flow velocity should be constant. That is, Vf1 must be equal to Vf2. So coming for the second condition to make utilization maximum, the discharge velocity must be very minimum so that the efficiency will become maximum. For example, steam possessing a velocity of 1000 meters per second coming and striking the vanes of a steam turbine, if the discharge velocity V2 is around 500 meters per second, in the sense we are using only 500 meters per second to convert the kinetic energy into mechanical energy. If the discharge velocity is just 200 meters per second, then we are using the 800 meters per second of energy. So if the discharge velocity is 0, then we are utilizing all 1000 meters per second and we are converting it into useful mechanical energy, which is again converted into electrical energy with the help of the generators. So therefore, V2 must be very minimum to make the utilization maximum. If I observe from the exit velocity triangle, the length of the V2 can be minimum if and only if V2 is equal to Vf2. You can see as V2 move towards Vf2, its length keep on decreases and it attains the minimum length when V2 is equal to Vf2. If I again move towards left, its value, the length will keep on increases. All these are vector quantities. Its length indicates the magnitude, its arrow marks indicates the directions. So therefore, the least length of V2 is possible only if V2 is equal to Vf2. In the sense, for an axial flow turbines, the discharge velocity should be equal to the axial component of absolute velocity. For an radial flow machines, the discharge velocity, the discharge absolute velocity of the working fluid must be equal to the meridional component of absolute velocity. What I mean to say is that Vf, the flow velocity, is nothing but the axial component of absolute velocity for axial flow turbines. Radial component of absolute velocity is for radial flow turbines. So now, for axial flow turbines, Vf is nothing but Va. For radial flow machines, Vf is nothing but Vm, meridional component of absolute velocity, which is also called as the radial component of absolute velocity. So therefore, if V2 is equal to Vf, then the utilization will become maximum. So therefore, the discharge velocity V2 must be equal to Vf2. So Vf1 is equal to Vf2, which is also equal to V2. So this is the condition that must be satisfied to make utilization maximum. If V2 is equal to Vf2, obviously what will be the angle of alpha 2? If I make V2 is equal to Vf2, alpha 2 will become 90 degree. Correct? So this third condition, alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree, will comes from the second condition. Second condition is V2 is minimum. V2 can be minimum only when V2 is equal to Vf2. So if V2 is equal to Vf2, obviously alpha 2 will become 90 degree. So therefore, this condition yields us two more conditions. A, from these conditions we are getting alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree is the one condition I am obtaining from the concept of maximum utilization. Since alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree, what is the value of Vu2 now? If alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree, Vu2 will become 0. So therefore, the second condition what I am obtaining by the concept of maximum utilization is that Vu2 will automatically become 0. So using the condition for maximum utilization, this velocity triangle can be written as so using these conditions, so I am getting at the center, this line is nothing but Vf1, which is equal to Vf2, which is again equal to V2, which is very important. So now the distance are represented as, the distance from absolute to relative is U, speed of the rotor. Distance from absolute to flow velocity is Vu1. Now again at the exit, absolute is a reference, absolute velocity of discharge is nothing but Vf. So absolute to relative is U, that is absolute velocity of the rotor U2, and the distance between absolute and flow, there is no distance between absolute and flow, so therefore Vu2 is equal to 0. And I am getting alpha 2 as 90 degree. Alpha 2 as 90 degree. So this is the velocity diagram for maximum utilization. So this figure represents velocity triangle for maximum utilization factor. So this is a diagram for maximum utilization factor. We know the general velocity triangle. For this general velocity triangle, I have employed the concept of maximum utilization. Previous lecture, I have derived the relationship between utilization factor and degree of reaction. If I use that relationship, we know that epsilon is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R V2 square. So now from the velocity triangle of maximum utilization factor, so from the velocity triangle, let us take the utilization factor velocity triangle as B, the general velocity triangle as A. So from velocity triangle B, which is the velocity triangle for maximum utilization, I can write sin alpha 1 as, so taking the bigger velocity triangle, sin alpha 1 is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. The opposite side is nothing but Vf1, which is equal to Vf2, which is again equal to V2. So if I clearly observe, I have here only V2 and V1. So therefore, this I will take as V2. So therefore, sin alpha 1 is equal to V2 by V1. So therefore, if I substitute this in the expression for utilization factor, the equation for maximum utilization will become epsilon max is equal to V1 square minus V1 square sin square alpha 1 divided by V1 square minus R V1 square sin square alpha 1. I will take V1 square common in both numerator and denominator. So I will end up with epsilon max is equal to 1 minus sin square alpha 1. 1 minus sin square alpha 1 is cos square alpha 1 divided by, I will left out with 1 minus R sin square alpha 1. So this is the equation for maximum utilization factor. So this is the expression for relationship between utilization factor and degree of reaction, and this is the expression for maximum utilization factor. If I know degree of reaction and nozzle angle at inlet, I can determine what is the maximum utilization. If I consider an impulse turbine and reaction turbine, impulse turbine are one in which energy transfer takes place only because of dynamic component of energy transfer, whereas in case of reaction turbine, energy transfer takes place because of both static component as well as dynamic component of energy transfer. In case of impulse turbine, the energy transfer takes place only because of dynamic component. As I discussed, the degree of reaction can be written as static component of energy transfer divided by total, that is static component plus dynamic component. So in case of impulse turbine, if you observe, there will not be any pressure drop when fluid moves over the blade surface. If there is no any pressure drop occurring when the fluid moving over the blade surface, there will not be any change in enthalpy. The static component of energy transfer takes place through the rotor as well as across the rotor. The static component of energy transfer takes place through the rotor because of change in centrifugal energy. The static component of energy transfer takes place across the rotor because of change in relative kinetic energy. So now, if you clearly observe for an impulse turbine, the static component of energy transfer is 0. This is because of the reason there is no pressure drop when fluid moves over the blade in case of impulse turbines. Therefore, the energy transfer takes place only because of dynamic component in case of impulse turbines. So, if I substitute the dynamic component and put static components as 0 for impulse turbine, static components of energy transfer is 0 and dynamic components will exist. So therefore the degree of reaction will become 0 divided by 0 plus dynamic component. This dynamic component and static components are already discussed in our lecture 2. The dynamic component is nothing but, so for a clarification I will write the static component and dynamic component. Static component is nothing but u1 square minus u2 square plus br2 square minus br1 square, whereas the by 2gc, whereas the dynamic component is v1 square minus v2 square by 2gc. Correct. So now therefore for an impulse turbine you will get R is equal to 0. So now substituting the value of R is equal to 0, the epsilon max, the maximum utilization factor for impulse turbine is how much you will get if I substitute R is equal to 0. If I substitute R is equal to 0, it will become, denominator will become 1. So therefore epsilon max will be equal to cos square alpha 1. Therefore the maximum utilization factor for impulse turbine is epsilon max is equal to cos square alpha 1. So this cos square alpha 1 is the maximum utilization for impulse turbine, which is caused only because of dynamic component of energy transfer. If you clearly observe, the dynamic component depends only on absolute velocity of the working fluid at inlet minus the absolute velocity of the working fluid at discharge. V1 is nothing but the absolute velocity of the working fluid at inlet is inclined angle of nozzle angle. Alpha 1 is nothing but the nozzle angle at entry. That is entry for the blade, not for the entry for the nozzle. Or specifying the velocities because, so this is V1 and let us consider I have a vane. So if I measure V1, so this is alpha 1. Alpha 1 is the inlet nozzle angle. It is not the nozzle inlet angle. Inlet nozzle angle. In the sense, we are speaking with respect to blade. For the blade, this is the inlet and this is the discharge. Whereas for the nozzle, this is the inlet and this is the discharge. Alpha 1 is nothing but the angle made at the outlet of nozzle. But we always speak with reference to the vanes. So therefore, we specify alpha 1 as the inlet nozzle angle. That is nothing but inlet for the blade. So this alpha 1, if I make this alpha 1 as 90 degree, if I make the nozzle, rotate the nozzle vertically, the water will fall here, the blade is here. There is no contact between the fluid and the blade. So substitute alpha 1 is equal to 90 degree. If I substitute alpha 1 is equal to 90 degree, cos 90 is 0. So therefore utilization will become 0. Obviously true. There is no contact between the working fluid and the blade. So if I make alpha 1 as 0 degree, in the sense if I keep the nozzle here and if I hit the vane set tangentially directly and tangentially, then obviously the utilization will become maximum. If I make V1 is equal to tangential component, then utilization will become maximum. So put alpha 1 is equal to 0. So if we put alpha 1 is equal to 0, epsilon max will become unity. In the sense 100% efficiency. So this completes the concept of maximum utilization for impulse turbines. Now let us discuss this maximum utilization for reaction turbine. In reaction turbine, the energy transfer takes place because of static component as well as dynamic component. In a sense, if you observe the pressure drop for an impulse turbine, you have observed only the pressure drop taking change in pressure taking place only in the stator, not in the rotor. Whereas in case of reaction turbine, the pressure drop takes place both in the stator as well as in the rotor. So therefore, the energy transfer takes place because of static component of absolute velocity, static component of energy transfer as well as dynamic component of energy transfer for a reaction turbine. Let us assume that the energy transfer taking place from the static component is equal to the energy transfer taking place from the dynamic component. Let us equate S is equal to D. If I equate S is equal to D, then the degree of reaction will become amount of energy transferred by the static component is equal to the amount of energy transferred by the dynamic component. If I make that assumption, then R will be equal to S divided by 2S, by making an assumption that S is equal to D in magnitude. So therefore, I will get R is equal to 0.5 is nothing but 50% reaction turbine. So now for 50% degree of reaction turbine, the maximum utilization will become epsilon max is equal to cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus 1 by 2 sin square alpha 1. So this I can write by taking 2 as LCM. So this will become 2 cos square alpha 1 divided by 2 minus sin square alpha 1. So this I can write as epsilon max is equal to 2 cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 plus 1 minus sin square alpha 1. If I write it like this, 1 minus sin square alpha 1 is nothing but cos square alpha 1. So therefore, the expression for maximum utilization factor for 50% reaction turbine is nothing but 2 cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 plus cos square alpha. So the maximum utilization for impulse turbine is given by cos square alpha 1. The maximum utilization for reaction turbine, that is 50% reaction turbine, is given by 2 cos square alpha 1 by 1 plus cos square alpha 1. Therefore, the maximum utilization factor for impulse turbine as well as for the 50% degree of reaction turbine depends only on inlet nozzle angle. So this is about our lecture number 4 on maximum utilization factor. Thank you.